Oh, it's live. All right, so the tool that I chose was called Book Wizard, and with Book Wizard, it takes you to scholastic.com, and under the section where it says books and authors, and teachers and students and parents can use this website. And the Book Wizard's really cool because it has a bunch of different sections, and one of the sections is titled Similar Books. You can type in a book title, and it'll show you books that are all related. And another section is reading levels. You can find books that are all on the same reading level. And then there's another section for new books, so it will tell you like daily or weekly all the new books that are out. And the last section I thought was really cool is called book lists. And you can type in keywords, like the example they gave was autumn and apples, and they'll give you all the books that have to do like in that book list. And I thought that was really cool. And so a critical use I would use is for when planning my lesson plans. When I have to pick books for like reading lessons and language arts, using the similar books or the reading level categories is really easy to find multiple books for all the different students. And a critical insight I have is that I know my mentor teacher uses this because the books are really cheap to buy and really easy to find. So I know my mentor teacher loves Scholastic and gets books all the time, and I think Book Wizard is a great website to get books that are like any book that you need.
Yeah. So I guess one of the critical uses that I'm thinking of is you said that students are able to use this site. So students can ask their parents to get them books really cheap. It's a great way to get books into the homes of kids, which I know is really, really important to help them practice their literacy in and outside of the classroom. Just helping them, I mean, practice all the time. They can read to their siblings, they can read to their parents, they can read to their teddy bears, you know, they can just keep practicing at home. So I think that's really important. And then a critical insight, I liked how you said it was in your, I think the critical use where you can, what did you say? It was, can't remember, but I have a connection to it. So the field placement classroom that I'm in, the levels, like I'm in a third grade classroom, but the reading levels are so scattered. I mean, it's from below pre-K and above fourth grade. So getting books from different levels, different topics, different interests would be really great for all the students.
All right, I feel like in my own classroom, I'll definitely use Book Wizard in order to expand my own classroom library. And like you said it always updates and has like the newest books out, so I can keep my own classroom library current. And also, I like the fact that you can search books, so no matter like what your lesson title or your lesson plan is about, you can always have a book to go along with it. Just like if a holiday's approaching, or if you want to do a lesson on like the season that you guys are in, you can use Book Wizard, and there's always going to be a book there that's going to correlate to whatever lesson you're on. So definitely a good tool to have in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, so one of the tools that I researched was Kahoot, and it is a game for the entire class, and it's a lot of quizzes. So the teacher creates a quiz, and then the students can use their smartphones or an iPad, anything with internet access, to answer the questions, and it's a competition, and students really, really get involved and excited to play Kahoot just because like it's fun, it's colorful, it's fast-paced, there's noises, there's different comments like, are you going too fast, or you're a genius, or different things like that. It's really awesome. Especially, I mean, not even especially for younger kids. I played it in one of the mini lessons that we've done in class earlier, and I was getting really into it. The site is really easy to use. There's really awesome templates, and you can use it on any browser, which is really awesome. I know a lot of sites, like some browsers, can't really use it. You can actually connect with learners like across the globe. You can connect with people through the internet and take quizzes and share answers. So it really fosters that social learning and collaborative learning that is really important. Um, and teachers can use Kahoot to introduce new topics, challenge, the students can challenge their previous performances. You can use it to review and revise topics. It can be an icebreaker. You can use it for assessments. You can facilitate discussions. And you can actually use it in professional development. So you can use it in all ages and with teachers. So it's a great tool. So one of the critical uses I saw was just the overall engagement. When I was participating in it, I was so competitive, I was so into it, and I really didn't know the topic. The topic was really hard, actually. So it was kind of like I really had to think about the answers, but I was so into the game. I wanted to win. I tried my best, and I know students are going to do the same. And it can be used in really hard subjects like fractions or things that students really struggle in, just to keep them engaged, keep them involved and interested in the topics. And then an insight. I know students have cell phones, and even if they don't, I know a lot of schools, my field placement, you can borrow iPads from the library, so they can use those to answer the questions. So I think it would integrate very well in a lot of classrooms. Yeah.
I agree.
Sorry.
I think that Kahoot is a really cool tool to use in the classrooms. And a critical use I think that would be great with Kahoot is the fact that it can be used globally, because every day kids are just in the classroom with the same people and doing the same things. But when they play Kahoot, it's cool that they can know that there's people all around the globe also playing, so they feel like they're talking to people like millions of miles away, and I think that's really cool for kids to feel like they're interacting. And like a critical insight, I know one of my teachers, my language arts teacher, like the second week of school, like just pulled it up and was like, all right, we're going to start the day by doing Kahoot, and it was just like random questions, but everyone like had so much fun with it. So I know like firsthand this is a really good tool that kids our age can use and little kids can use. So it's great for like any age level and all around the world. So this is a great tool for any class.
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool to use as like an informal assessment tool. So after you present a lesson, you can do a Kahoot just to check to see what students are getting it, what students may need some extra help. And as well, I think it could be used like as an exit ticket. I guess like again, just assessing students. Maybe like at the last 10 or 15 minutes of class, you guys hop on Kahoot, do a quiz or some games like that, and you can just see like which students, like I said, which students are on it and which students might need some extra help. We actually played this in, I can't remember exactly what class it was, but it was just to check up and see if we had read the chapter or not. And I think a professor had done it that way to like check and see if we read the chapter the night before. So it's definitely can be used just to reassess students and see if they're doing what they're supposed to do outside the classroom as well.
Nice. Okay, so the second tool that I researched was eMaze, and it's a online presentation tool and template. It's really, really cool. It's almost like Prezi, PowerPoint, YouTube all combined. There's so much animation. Again, this one can work on any device with internet access, and it runs on any browser, which I don't know why all sites don't do this. But there are lots of different templates. There's some with 3D, some with just 2D. I mean, it's so animated. So like the colors are so bright. It's so interesting. It's so easy to watch and easy to stay engaged. So I think this is a great tool for teachers to use, not only in class presentations with notes, but I know one of the examples was a teacher's back to school night presentation, so for families to see what the teacher's all about, what their philosophy is, different things like that. So I think it's a really awesome tool. I mean, one use I found was it's so much different than PowerPoint, but it's not overstimulating. It's not too much. It's I mean, it's a great new form of presentations. Um, and for an insight, in my field placement, they just got a new smart board. So I think utilizing that and putting presentations on eMaze will just get the kids so much more involved, so much more engaged, and excited to watch not just a PowerPoint, not just a Prezi, even those are kind of not old school, but I've seen a lot by now, and I'm sure other kids have too. So eMaze is just this new, awesome, really engaging, really colorful and vibrant and interesting presentation.
Yeah, I think email sounds really cool, and I liked the fact, like a good critical use is the fact that it can be used on any device. So kids, if they watch it in the classroom and then they go home and, they want to view exactly what they saw, they can pull up on their iPad or their iPhone, and instead of just taking notes, they can have it right in front of them in order to study or have their parents look at it or whatever they need. It can be pulled up on any browser, any device. So it's really cool to just like travel with it. And I know that I've never used this before, but I totally am bored with PowerPoints because all my teachers use that day in and day out. So I think if teachers start using this in the classroom, kids will like see this new and cool thing and they'll like it and pay attention more. I personally know I probably would because like Prezis I think are cool because they're pretty new to me. So even combining the two, PowerPoints and Prezis and YouTube, I think it'd be a really cool tool to get all the kids engaged in something new and not the same boring PowerPoint that they always see.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like tying in to like last week we learned about UDL. I think if you give kids the opportunity to create their own presentation through emails, it helps kids that are not helps the kids that might be more visual learners to curate their own thing and not just keeping kids like in a box like okay, like give me a 2-page paper, but you can also give them different another variety of a way to demonstrate their learning of whatever material you presented towards them. So I think I definitely in my own classroom emails sounds like a good tool to get kids more engaged and more involved in different ways to present what they just learned. All right, so the one I have is QR Reader. And QR Reader, QR stands for Quick Response, and it's basically like a barcode, but it holds up to like 100 times more information as a barcode. And so in the classrooms, the classroom uses for it is kids have like the QR app scanner on their phone, or you have it on the class iPads. And what you do is you put it up to the black and white square. And when it scans, it like sends them to either like an article or a video or a tutorial, something like that. And then I've seen it in my placement in the library. Actually, it was during Earth Week, and the librarian had the QR codes throughout the media center, and students went around with the iPads and they would scan, and each time they scanned, they would come to a video which would teach them like how to use like a video or article to tell them ways to like reduce, reuse, and recycle. And some of the things I found like cool ways to incorporate QR readers in your classrooms. One was to put a QR code inside of books in your classroom libraries, so kids can scan the QR reader, and then they can come up to a page that has like a book review on that book, so they can read the book reviews before they decide like yes or no if they want to read the book or not. Also, another real cool one was teachers put it on the kids' homeworks, and so if a kid got so probably didn't understand, you could scan the QR code, and it would take them to a tutorial which would teach them again, like reinforce whatever skills they were lacking in. And the last one I saw was like learning centers, just having having a QR code at like a different section in the classroom, and having kids with the iPads. And really, it's just like the whole class is about just introducing technology. Anytime kids get to grab an iPad, they're gonna be more engaged, more involved in content. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. What really stood out was the putting the QR reader in the book. I know in my field placement classroom, almost half of the students speak another language and are English language learners, and so having that, like, I wonder if you could give them a video or an audio clip with that QR reader to have the book read aloud to them so that they can hear the words, see the words as they're reading it, and really get into the English into the English language and really start to develop their literacy skills. So I think that's almost the use and the insight. The use would be for the English language learners, and then the insight, I would love to see if I could get that for one of the mini lessons, especially for the language arts one, to see if I can get some of those English language learners reading more books.
Yeah, I think that it's a really good use for like a critical use to help stop wasting time in class, because everyone knows there's all this time being wasted when you give an assignment and then some kids finish and they're just bored sitting. And I think if you put the QR readers all around the classroom, like a ton of them, that the kids that are at a faster pace and like a higher learning level that can knock out their worksheets like that, I think if the teacher starts like putting these QR readers up, they can eliminate this wasted time and have the kids start doing more practice problems or learning something new. And I know for like a critical insight, like in all like my classroom and just any classroom, there's always time wasted that the kids could be practicing more. But with the QR readers, if a kid is off task because they finished early and they're just bored, you can send them over to like a corner where there's a bunch of different QR readers and be like, get an iPad, go over there and scan those and do the activities, so that way time isn't being wasted anymore. It's actually being put to good use because kids are getting more practice and learning more instead of just sitting there bored and doing nothing. So I think, yeah, the QR reader would definitely be good to help stop wasting time that's wasted a lot in classrooms.
Sounds good. All right, so my second one was Spritz, and like you guys had already seen before the video chat, Spritz, what it does is you bookmark it, and so then when you come into an article that's online, what it does is it breaks down the article into one word fragments, and each word like flashes in front of you on the screen, and also a letter in the middle of the word is highlighted. And that's supposed to do is supposed to focus your reading just on that one word and keep your focus on whatever you're reading and not all over the page. And I feel like it really could help struggling students in the classroom if you do that with the article, because just putting up one big article in front of them can be intimidating, and they might not really look at the whole thing, and we got to read all of this. But even just introducing technology into it, just having each word pop up in front of them like that, for them to think about how much more they have left. They just keep wanting to just keep up with the thing, with the screen showing each word. And also there's a drop box which controls the words per minute. It starts at 100, I think it goes down to 750, and so each kid can just adjust their words per minute accordingly to their reading skills. And so I just thought in my own classroom, like I said, if there's kids who are struggling with reading, you can definitely slow that word per minute down and just have them focus on reading each single word. So I think it's definitely a great tool, and I'll definitely be using it in my classroom as well.
Yeah, definitely. That like makes me think again of English language learners, to have them really look at each word and each part of the word. I know a lot of times English language learners learn mostly through content just because they don't have that time to get the individual word and bottom to top literacy skills. But just having that slowing down of the reading for the English language learners. Going back to my field placement classroom, getting those students to read books, read articles slowly, and get a lot of focus on that article, on those words. I think it'll help them really get into the English language.
Yeah, and again, for the diverse learners, some people can read something really, really fast and have no problem comprehending it all, while some kids need to really look at each word individually, and it takes them longer. So I think this is great to use in classrooms. A great use for it is, you know, having kids each have the article set at their own pace. And with using Spritz, all the kids, like, they're not intimidated by a big article. It's set at the pace they like, and the teacher can wait till all of them are done, and they are understanding it, but at their own pace. So instead of just giving them 5 minutes to read, while some kids won't understand, then it'll be a lot better for all the kids to understand at their own pace. And I know for me personally, like, a good insight is that I like sometimes when I get a big paragraph handed to me, I'll read it, but then realize I didn't pay attention at all. So with Spritz, it keeps me fully engaged, and so I'm not just like reading while not comprehending it at all. And I could use this in a classroom because I know kids will read it and have to reread the paragraph 5 times because they weren't actually paying attention. So with Spritz, it's really good to keep them focused and paying attention and at their own speed. So I think it's a great tool to help all the different learners and the readers and at the different paces they go at.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think that's all of them.
All right, that's 5.
I'm gonna end it.